All right, everyone, a long-awaited day. Trump finally put it out there and used the T word to describe the FBI scandal that's, right now mounting his bar, slowly looks through the legalism of it, and that's treason, specifically labeling what happened to his political campaign treason. He's not possibly entirely wrong. It's not 100% clear exactly what mechanism was at fault, whether it was sheer ineptitude on a scale we've never seen, which would be, trust me, more troubling, or mass corruption at some level on the FBI. It doesn't really make itself clear at this time, but something happened and an active presidential campaign was spied on and infiltrated by FBI informants. It's unacceptable. It never should have happened. It was prefaced on the Steele dossier, which, according, again, to Lisa Page, via Sturzak there, was the only bit of evidence that they had when they signed off, when FISA signed the documents to have the Mueller probe begun. And then it went before Rosenstein, and it goes from there. According to them, it was solely the Steele dossier. And according to separate sources that are there at the FBI, it was actively questioned, at least by some people, when it was new, when it was, freshly there. They should have known that it was politically motivated. It was obviously politically motivated, judging from the content. And it had the Hillary Clinton campaign fingerprints all over it anyway, when it got fed to the FBI initially. So essentially, biased agents in the FBI took something that was itself preeminently biased and fed it to the FISA court as though it wasn't. Failed to and neglected to mention to the FISA court that anyone questioned its actual veracity. It got rubber stamped, which is what everything does at the FISA court, basically. They can spy on it. They could spy on the president now, today, and get a FISA warrant for it. The FISA people probably don't even read it. They just have, the one bored dude is the FISA court judge. He just has a rubber stamp next to him. They put a piece of paper in front of it. He doesn't even read it before stamping. Rosenstein rubber stamped it. Then poor Mueller, he gets stuck with the probe of a lifetime based on bullshit. And I think that when he began his probe, he didn't make the decision to begin it. It had already been forced upon him as special counsel anyway, and he gets appointed to that position. I think that Mueller probably went berserk at that point. When he realized what the probe was based on, when he began looking into it, can you imagine the look on fucking poor Mueller's face? I don't think Mueller's a traitor. I don't think he did anything wrong. I think Rosenstein might have. I think that some people at the FBI might be on the chopping block and probably deserve it. Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem for Barr, for Trump, for everybody else. How do you investigate an investigative body? How do you out-prosecute the prosecutor? You can't. How are you going to investigate the FBI properly? I mean, these people are literally paid to know how to hide, what they're doing and be very, conduct surveillance and be kind of subversive and in the shadows. If you've got a bunch of people whose job, whose MO it is specifically to hide their activities from the person they're investigating, to be secretive, to have all of the intel and info highest classified level, how are you going to possibly nail them for a crime? They can cover their ass easy. Be like investigating the CIA for drug running or something. It's not going to happen. You know it's going on. It's transparent. It's plain as day. But unless some agent gets sloppy and stumbles, around higher than a kite, you're not going to be able to do anything. The supervisor will cover their tracks and claim ignorance. Oh, I always thought he had some problems, but I never knew he was a cokehead. I never knew he was dealing for the cartels. Yeah, there's always a few rotten apples in your barrel. Meanwhile, the barrel itself is falling apart sometimes. The FBI usually has more credibility. And people, it's funny. Here's a funny part for Trump. And he can run roughshod over the legacy media on this. He said for 2 years that he thought his campaign had been spied on specifically. And they called him a conspiracy theorist. They said it never happened. It was just an informant within your campaign, Mr. Trump, told the FBI you were dirty and stuff like that. Maybe the Mueller probe didn't find any wrongdoing, but at least there was probable cause. There was smoke, so they thought there was fire, and so they sort of exonerate the people that were responsible. He said for 2 fucking years to people, hey, I was spied on by the FBI. Yeah, they spied on a presidential campaign. It's worrisome. Oh, no, Mr. Trump. There goes Mr. Trump being a fearmonger again. There goes crazy Donald again. And he was right. And he probably knew. Look, here's the reason why I chuckled about the Mueller probe from day one. Because Trump's actions did not show that he was actually afraid. He basically just blew it off and started insulting everyone, which is what you would expect from someone who's innocent. Here's the thing. I think he knew that his campaign had been infiltrated, because I think that he has all sorts of informants. He's massively rich, he's extremely well politically connected, he's connected to Hollywood, he's connected to Wall Street, he does have Kremlin connections, although not of the subversive or dubious type, basically business connections all around the world. Do you not think somebody in the FBI is on Trump's side? Like, he doesn't have anybody in the intel community watching his back right now? Do you think there aren't people that are rubbing elbows right now with a bunch of fucking liberals that hate him that actually are his eyes and ears? Of course he's got informants. He's probably got a whole network around the world of people feeding him parallel info to what the intel community has. Why do you think that he constantly runs up against them and says, weird shit that's totally different from what the intel agencies are saying? He has a totally different network of probably private surveillance going on. And by the way, this is a huge advantage to us. Why do you think that he seems so prescient at times? Why do you think that he seems to think 2 steps ahead? He's got other people watching it. It's not just Trump happens to be a super genius. Okay, he's a smart dude. He's not a 300 IQ fucking Albert Einstein. He's no Nikola Tesla. He's skilled, but he's not quite that high up. I have no reason to doubt that there's a whole network of people helping him out. He's got an inner circle of people that funnel info from a bunch of other secondary sources. Probably all over DC, the Kremlin, Beijing, everywhere else. He's got spies everywhere, probably. So he knew what was going on. He knew he had been infiltrated. That's why he came out and said it. It wouldn't have made any sense otherwise, strategically. To make a claim that big and then, it never to pan out, make it look like it's a conspiracy theory, that would have given the legacy media what it wanted. So he's finally used the T word, treason. Which means, probably heads are about to roll. He's going to have Barr be the one to pretend to stumble upon the info he's already got. Basically, what he's got, if he's got his own network of informants, he's already got the info. But he needs to dig it up a second time through Barr and through people, through official channels. Otherwise, it exposes the whole thing, the whole operation. By the way, I think JFK had something similar going on with some of his mafia buddies. Of course they were looking out for him. May have killed him, but some of them liked him, I guess, because he was good for business. Basically, they make a lot of money funneling hookers to him. I'll find some go-go dancers. Fucking John is feeling antsy tonight. And Jackie's being a cold, frozen person, so he needs some relief. The president needs our help. Get him some coke too. He probably snorted that as well. I hope that Trump snorts coke once in a while. When he sniffs a lot up on stage, I'm hoping he did snort an Adderall to be good for him. Maybe that's why he's so high-functioning. But yeah, it's interesting to finally... It's significant. Look, this is an optics presidency. It's just like Pompeo declaring Maduro officially illegitimate like 3 days before Guaido rises up. It wasn't a coincidence. It's a very optics-related presidency. When he uses words, you've got to pay attention to those words. Even when he makes spelling errors, there's usually a reason. He's doing it to get more attention on some tweet or something like that when he says kafefe and weird shit like that. And by the way, it was a total cover-up when he said, oh, well, it's like an Arabic term or something. No. It was definitely, auto-correct or something like that. Something went wonky at 3 a.m., and fundamentally it was a mistake, except that he was using it to get attention anyway and take the news cycle away from other shit. It's pretty funny. So yeah, the FBI scandal continues. It'll be interesting to see what Barr finds or does not find. But prediction time, he'll find something. At least some speculation of wrongdoing. That's about all. Peace out.